So today, while I'm recording this, the House is talking to Secretary of State John Kerry about what do we do. And news is coming out is that the Joint Chiefs have come up with strategies and they presented it to the President, and we'll probably hear from the President that, okay, well, maybe we'll have some sort of kinetic action in Iraq or in Syria, and that we're issuing ultimatums to Syria. But I go back to a quote from Sun Tzu, and he talks about tactics and strategy. And here we have a problem of tactics and strategy. We're thinking about tactics before we think about strategy. And therein lies a big problem. We don't really have a strategy. So my recommendation, where do we go from here? How do we develop a strategy? Well, number one, I think that we need to smack ISIS, smack them hard, and we have the means to do that. I'm not talking just about air power, I'm talking about special operations people, rapid reaction forces that can be relatively rapidly put in so that they can whack the perpetrators of some of these heinous acts of killing Christians, killing other ethnic groups in Iraq, executing captured Iraqi soldiers en masse. That needs to be dealt with in a very, very strong way as soon as possible. Okay, but that's an immediate tactic, and it might be part of a long-term strategy, but it's not going to win anything. It's like I put out in my book, it's limited warfare with a limited objective. And what we're faced with, as I think I've shown, is that this is a worldwide problem, and it requires worldwide solutions, and it's not going to come easily, and it's going to take a long time to put it down. For starters, there are three major players in the world right now. The two major players are the United States and China, and to a lesser extent, but due to the aggressive actions of Vladimir Putin, Russia has reemerged as a geopolitical threat to Western civilization. Noteworthy in its absence in the whole discussion of ISIS and what to do about it is the United Nations. One of the reasons that we've avoided the United Nations is because we know that Russia and China have permanent status in the Security Council, and they're capable of blocking any resolutions that we might put forward. So the United States has chosen, in regard to things like Libya, is to fall back on NATO, it's just an excuse to have the United States take action because we're really the only effective members of NATO. So over the last 6 years or so, we have been relatively disengaged from Russia and China. That reset button didn't work so good. And I regret this because I was a Far Eastern Studies major at the Naval Academy, and I got to watch firsthand the opening of China relations with President Nixon, and I think that there's a great potential for us. China is our major customer, or we're China's major customer, and they are highly dependent on us to obtain their manufactured goods for them to succeed. So, and we've also had better relations with Russia. And I think that at this time, I would recommend putting together a Russia-China dream team, for lack of a better word. Is right now in our current administration, we've got a lot of lightweights. Some of them are testifying in front of the Senate and the House right now, who really don't know what they're doing. And I'd recommend putting together a dream team of people that have members that speak the language and also have the mutual respect of the leadership in both China and Russia. For example, I recommend putting together a dream team composed of and headed by former President George W. Bush, and including members such as former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, who also speaks Russian, former Ambassador to China John Huntsman, who also speaks Mandarin Chinese fluently, has been an ambassador to Singapore as well as to China. And recently retired Admiral William McRaven, who is a Navy SEAL and was in charge of Special Operations Command at the time of the Bin Laden raid, and there are very few people that understand special operations better than he does, and he has worldwide respect for that. The Chinese military, the Russian military respect them. So that's where I'd start, is to try and forge a relationship with Russia and China to approach the worldwide Muslim problem as a group, a concerted group. With that, I think that the Muslim world would look at the awesome strength and power, potential power between or among United States, China, and Russia, and realize that this is not such a good idea to be pushing the rest of the world to adopt Islam as a way of life, as a system of laws and religion.